Hello everyone, welcome to our webinar. Why is it important to plan your career choices right now? That is right after 12th. I'm your host Ritvik and I also have Sushma here who will be presenting this webinar. Just a few details before we get started. This is a 15-minute session followed by the Q&A. We will be taking your questions towards the end of the webinar. Please use the chat window to ask any question regarding this webinar that you may have. We are recording this webinar and we shall also share the recording after the session. So without any delay, I'll hand it over to you. Over to you, Sushma.
Thank you, Ritvik. I will just give a few details about myself. I have done my clinical psychology in my MSc and then have been working as career psychologist for past 4 years. During my internship at All India Institute of Speech and Hearing at Mysore, I have worked closely with children having ADHD, learning disability, and even kids with mental retardation and Down syndrome and other developmental disorder. So let's begin the session. I will be focusing on two main factors here in the session. The first one is being why is it important to plan a career now? And the second one is how to plan your career. So why is it important to plan one's career soon after 12? First reason is the number of opportunities available right now. If you see the courses and specializations, there are new courses and new specializations are every year. Even if you ask me, in just in engineering, there are like 72 specializations. But if you see around, if you look around, there are students who are just taking those 4 conventional specializations like civil or IT, computer science, or ENC, right? So we don't see most of the students taking up specializations like mechatronics, instrumentation, or power and source energy engineering, or water resource management, such as. So there are new options, new specializations, but we are just stick to these conventional careers and not exploring. So only if we know what kind of options available out there, then we will be able to plan better. So this is one of the reasons. And the second one is the competition level. If you see 10 years down the line, the competition was like 90%. If you score, okay, you are the topper of the class. But now if you get 96% isn't enough. So the cutoff levels are like 99.6, 99.9, right? So you can only plan well when you know what are you aiming towards, right? So you need to start planning what are your what is your competition level, who are your competitors and all that. So this is one of the reasons. And the third thing is being about emotional well-being and job satisfaction. So quite some time back, there was a research done where they found out that 80% of students or 80% of people were not happy about the job which were they doing. So this tells a lot about job satisfaction, right? Like passion is the only thing which will help you survive in the profession. If you're not happy about your job, you will not be enjoying anything, any other aspects of life, right? So you need to, job is just not a job. It influences your lifestyle. It becomes your lifestyle. So you need to see what kind of job you would want to get into and plan accordingly. And the fourth factor is investment going. It could be money or it could be time. Both of them are very important, right? Like you just do soon after 12th, you just say that, okay, I will do engineering and then I'll figure out what I want to do. Like if I ask few of my clients, few of my students who would say that, ma'am, I would do engineering, then I'll figure out what I can do after that. Or I will. They usually say that, ma'am, I would do MBA and then I'll find another job. So this finding after your course doesn't make sense, right? So you want to do engineering and then you say that whatever you did was not the something which you wanted to pursue as career. So these are the very important factors. Even to get a certification like on photography or any animation courses, you have to spend a lot of money. So even time wise and money wise, it is very important for you to focus and then plan your options. So these are the 4 reasons why you should be planning now. Let's look at how people usually plan their career. So there are if you ask students around, if you ask your friends around, what do they really like? They talk about gaming, they talk about music, they talk about traveling, they talk about drawing. But Next question, if you ask them what do they really want to do, they would say, I would get into engineering or medicine or CA or any conventional careers. Why there is a huge discrepancy between one's interest and one's choice? So you need to give it a thought. Is this something which I really want to do, or am I forced to do this, or am I forcing myself to do something which I'm not interested in? So give it a thought, guys. Another way, I would say, like broadly, we can classify how career choices are made are by default or by forced. So when I get for counseling, I usually ask my students, why are you picking this course, or why are you doing this course? So few answers I could say like, no ma'am, I am doing this because my friends are doing, or I am doing this because I have got 90%, that's why I have to do this. So it's usually based on your friend's choice or based on your marks. So this is not the right way. Of course, you need marks to get into a top college. Marks are not just the factor to get into a career, right? Like it is one step which will help you to get into the top college, but that shouldn't be the defining factor of your career choice. So give it a thought about this. You shouldn't be planning about your career based on these two factors. Another most usual way of planning is because of influence of parents. So if you see, I recently had a counseling session with one of my students. He said he was very upset that he scored only about 80%, and then they came for counseling, and then I figured out that he really didn't want to do engineering, but it is because of his parents. Parents thought that would be the best career for him. Then the sessions went on. Then we figured out he actually wanted to become a writer and not engineer. So of course, your parents would want you to settle down well, and then do not have to take any risk in life. But in all this juggling between making it big and not able to settle down and all that, we are forgetting if the child really want to do that, or if child is able to do that. So for all the parents out there, I would just request, don't kill that inner desire of your child. Let him do what he really wants to do. Then you just have to be there for the support. And I'm sure you all heard about this family legacy point, where people just say that, oh, I come from MBBS background or doctor background family, or I come from law family, so I have to do this. So there is no such rule that you have to carry a family legacy. Every one of us are different. Of course, family bonds us together, but all of us are not same. So these are the usual way how career choices are made. But these are, I'm sure that you have realized that these are not the right way, because all of us are not same, and career is something you should be focusing on for you to be happy in the long run. So if these are not the ways, then how actually one can plan your career? So first and foremost thing is about your interest. Like, what is that you're really passionate about? What is that one thing you will never get tired of doing? So explore that, introspect yourself, and see what are you really passionate about, and what are you really want to do for rest of your life. So once you explore that interest, then it becomes easy for you to figure out rest of the options. So if you know your interest, well and good. If you don't know, you can always take assessments which are available online. Now, the second point which plays very important role in planning one's career is about your personality. For example, if somebody wants to do journalism, and then their nature is introvert, they cannot take a job which is a PR role or any such roles which require for them to go and talk to people on a daily basis. They wouldn't be very comfortable, right? So, but they would be really comfortable doing something like back-end work. It could be creative writing, or it could be content writing, instructional writing, any of that. So for you to pick up a course option, you need to also realize what kind of person you are and what kind of job role you would fit into. The another very important factor being is about your aptitude. Like, you need to know your skill sets, what kind of skill sets you have, what comes natural to you. Are you a number crunching person? Are you a language person? Or you are a physics person who can actually apply physics concepts well? There are aptitudes like numerical reasoning, mechanical reasoning, which is verbal reasoning, all that. So you need to know what kind of skill sets you really have, what comes natural to you. So do this strength and weakness analysis yourself. If you cannot do it, you can ask your parents or teachers, and you can introspect what comes natural to you, and then if you can do it by yourself, well and good. If you cannot, then there are of course tests available online, such as differential aptitude test, scholastic assessment test, and so on. So even if for interest and personality, you can look up for tests such as strong inventory test or Holland codes or MBTI. So if you know it, all this, if you can explore it by yourself, well and good. If you cannot, then there are assessments available online. So these three are the major things you need to focus on to plan a career. Now, once we figure this out, what are these three factors? Then, of course, the next question is like, okay, now what do I do after figuring out what do I do? How do I go further? What kind of courses there are? What kind of uh, can I get into this college, or what is the right college for me? So that is another major question pops up in your mind, saying that after this, what next, right? So how do you really pick up a right course or right college? So I would quickly mention these 4 5 things which are major factors about for you to for which will help you to decide the right college and course. First option is about course availability and specializations, which I talked about it. Like there are more number of courses and more number of specializations. So once you identify your interest, know about what kind of courses are available in particular stream. Is it a professional degree or a graduation, post graduation? Know about it. And what are the premier institutes? Of course, once you get into top colleges, only then you'll be able to land in a good job, right? So that's why it's always better to do it in premier institutes. So identify what are the top colleges in that particular field. And then know about the prerequisites such as eligibility criteria, cutoffs, entrance exam. For example, if you say for engineering, I'm sure everybody knows about it, it's JEE, but other courses like BR, that is Bachelor's in Architecture, it's NATA, and for law, it's CLAT, and for designing courses, few institutes conducts their own entrance exam, and for IHM, the Premier Institute for Hotel Management conducts their own JEE. So there are a lot of prerequisites you need to fill in before you get into particular course. So identify this, explore about them, and then make a choice. So once you do all this quick research about the courses and the colleges, then start exploring about career options. What kind, if you do a particular course, what kind of jobs you would get into, what kind of career you would be getting into. So read about it. You can always go online and read about that particular career opportunity and the scope and career growth in that particular field. And if possible, talk to professionals, talk to them through LinkedIn or any such platforms, or Google if you can get in touch with any professionals and explore about what kind of job role they would do, what kind of job or work they would do it on a day-to-day basis. So explore that, and then make a informed choice. So I would want to ask all of you, like, would you want to pursue your dreams or someone else? So give it a thought, guys. If you really want to pursue your dreams, then you should be focusing on your interest and personality and aptitude, and explore your options to make an informed choice. So that is what. If you still have any difficulty in making any choices, we are right here. Just you can always reach out to us. You can talk to our experts at yearthose.com. And thank you for giving your time. I hope you all like the section. And now we can take up the questions. we have an interesting question here saying, can we get job if we choose arts? So, I mean, when it's, this is most of the students would ask like, ma'am, can I get job if I take humanities? Of course, yes. There are a lot of streams which are not explored yet. So there is psychologist role. There is if you study history, there is something called anthropology, archaeology. There is something called for museum curator. And if you want to get into social work, there is you can do bachelor's in social work and get into NGO or corporate social responsibility sector. And if there are many more options like political science, you can get into public administration. You can even get into you can write after graduation. You can start writing for UPSC exams, and you can also look at law. So yeah, there are pretty lot of options available even if you study humanities.
Guys, you can ask your questions. On the top, you can see this checkbox. Just click on it. You can actually type in your question. Just click on that and click on Q&A and start typing your question.
So we have another question here. One of the viewer has asked about how to convince his parents for not pursuing engineering. Yeah, of course. It becomes a little difficult, I understand, but only we can convince others when we are convinced, right? You cannot convince someone else when you are not sure about what you want to do. So once you are determined about what you want to do, once you are clear about, no, I will do this if I get into some other stream, or for that matter, if I get into humanities, I will do better in this stream than getting into engineering. So if you are convinced first, then of course you can convince others better. It could be your parents, or it could be your relatives or society. If you are convinced, of course if you are convinced and determined, of course you can convince others. So if you still have any questions, you can always reach out to us for any such career guidance queries. You can reach out to us at yourdost.com. Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Thanks, Sushma, for the insightful session. We'll end it. We will be sharing the recording after this session, and please watch out this space. Feel free to visit our website, talk to our experts for any queries that you may have. All the very best. Thank you. Good day.